Hi everyone, this is Warren. Today we're going to talk about a strategy that you can use in particular if your credit is not good and you're looking to acquire assets, purchase a building, um, or some other form of real estate, uh, investing for cash flow. Um, Basically what we're looking at is creating what I call a credit pool, similar to a capital pool, which is basically a pool of capital that one can utilize for the purpose of investing. Well, the same thing with the credit pool. With the use of credit, one can basically acquire the assets that can help you and your partners to build wealth. Now, how do you create a credit pool? Well, again, if your credit is not in a good position, then what you need to do is find partners. Partners who, most importantly, have good credit, but may not have the expertise, knowledge, or the cash wherewithal to do the things that they would like to do to build wealth, but may be inclined to work with you if they're given a business model that makes sense. In a in a credit pool, wherein that you're bringing in partners, each party has a specific role in the formation of this pool. If you're the organizer or sponsor, and in the case that your credit may not be up to par, or you may not have enough credit to qualify for funding, your job would be to organize the pool, being that most likely you're the one listening to this at this particular moment. In some cases, you may be a person that has good credit, and maybe not, you don't have the time or the knowledge to do the things that we're going to discuss. So you may find an individual with poor or minimal credit to assist. But from the standpoint of you being the individual that may not have the good credit, you're going to be the organizer slash sponsor. You identify individuals with at least 700 credit score, and that's reporting from all three bureaus. Preferably, the bureaus should range, some cases as low as 680, but preferably 700 and above. As you are building your credit, the individual who is qualifying for the credit that will be utilized for the acquisition of assets will be involved in the structuring of this partnership with you, wherein that both your roles are clearly defined. And you can have more than two individuals, but for the purpose of this discussion, we're only dealing with two individuals and so forth. So, for the most part, you as an individual, meaning the sponsor, your role would be organizing the credit pool and preferably contributing on a monthly basis to meet the minimum payments of any credit that's utilized to access capital. You can also have the same thing with the individual who's bringing the credit to the table, they can also be contributing on a monthly basis to the minimum balance to maintain the payments of the credit that is being utilized. But it's very important that each party understands their respective roles. Now, why would you, if your credit is shot, be the one to commit to making the monthly payments? Well, as an inducement to the individual with the good credit, they're more inclined to want to help if they know that the monthly payment will be made. And if you have shown an effort to contribute to that process, then the likelihood of bringing that person aboard as a credit partner is increased. It's one thing to ask someone to lend their credit to a situation and you're benefiting, but they're basically doing all the heavy lifting. It's another thing wherein that both parties are contributing to the overall benefit of the opportunity. Now, once you guys have developed an operating agreement that clearly states each person's role, the next step is identifying assets that can generate cash flow after you have qualified for the credit. We're looking at business assets, as I mentioned before. You can also look at real estate assets or just other types of passive income cash flow generating opportunities. As an example, if one targets rental income producing property that is generating a monthly cash flow, then the net income from that investment can be utilized to pay down the debt. But for the purpose of this exercise, the individuals who are part of the credit pool, their responsibility will be to pay down the debt. And as the investment starts to cash flow, the purpose of that cash flow is to accumulate and to be used again to acquire another asset. See, what's going to happen is that as more assets are acquired, more cash flow is created. And you will get to a point where that there is sufficient enough cash flow now being generated to cover the debt service. But that requires someone committing, again, to making sure in the initial process that the debts are being covered. Remember, there's nothing wrong with using credit or debt, providing that you're utilizing it wisely. This is not a strategy for accessing credit to buy items that will not generate cash flow. The purpose of the strategy is strictly to acquire assets. One of the formulas that you will utilize in this process, as some of you have probably heard before, is cash to asset back to cash. Cash to asset back to cash is that you access capital through the credit, convert that into cash, then you purchase an asset. That asset generates cash, and that brings you back to a cash state. There are strategies that one can utilize, especially in real estate, and in some businesses, some business acquisitions, wherein that you can refinance the asset and draw down the cash. At the same time, the asset is generating cash flow. that's for another discussion. For the purpose of this discussion, we'll just keep it basic. So cash to asset back to cash. As you are building your monthly cash flow, you'll find that the positive cash flow will start to snowball into larger cash flows each month. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. You're not going to become a millionaire from this in a matter of days or months. This takes dedication, this takes commitment, and this will take some time. But what will eventually happen is that you will accumulate enough assets that over time your cash flow will exceed your debt service. For those of you who are interested in this strategy, please click on the link for more information, and thank you.